Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the 3200 podcast. Got me and my bros in here, man. We are talking some serious talk today, man. We're talking about child support and how it affects homes. So stay tuned. Go ahead and light up the comments. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, the 3200, you know how we connect. 3200 Magnolia was the address. Beaumont, Texas, had to do it like that. Wanna welcome everybody to the podcast. Plenty stories that we gotta explore. From the views of husbands, fathers, entrepreneurs, baby fathers and workers. I know this though for certain. You gon' laugh, have a good time till your side hurting. 3200, but you already know this. You know it. Couple of brothers hard working and focused. Intellectual, entertaining for show. 32 double O, let's go. 3200, but you already know this. Couple of brothers hard working and focused. Intellectual, entertaining for show. 32 double O, let's go. Hey, yeah, make sure that you turn it up. Get the talking, ain't no topic that we do not discuss. Yeah, everything and nothing at the same time. Good vibes, tune in, cause you know it's going down. 3200.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. What's going on, bros?
Hey.
What's up?
How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling tonight? How y'all feeling tonight?
Man, I feel like psalmist Mr. Johnny Taylor. It's cheaper to keep her.
How you feeling, Leo?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just, you know.
He's full of ribs. That's what he is.
Oh, and baby brother Jonathan to be in the most. Hey, thank you all for joining us tonight. We've got a hot topic for you. Before we jump into that, man, we need you to go ahead, smash that like button, share, and subscribe, man. Share this thing. Jump up in the comments, say what's up to us, and just join the show, man. This is an interactive show where we talk to y'all. And you talk to us, and we talk together, man. We work it out together there. What's up, Jonathan? What's up? Eyes the Pappy.
Eyes the Pappy.
So tonight, man, we're talking all about child support, man, and the benefits, if it's beneficial, and everything that goes, how it affects the families in the communities here, man. So very hot topic, man. Always a hot topic, man. I think child support's been around, or some form of child support's been around since 1935. And really not many changes have occurred in the system since then. I think one of the first topics we'll kind of hit on there is, with it being the system being so old, is it fair? Is the system working, or is it not working? What are your thoughts on child support?
No. No, anything that's antiquated, even like the Declaration of Independence, anything that's antiquated, it was designed for the culture and the time period. And so without continuous improvement and allowing it to evolve to fit the current times, there's going to always be flaws in anything that's man-made anyway. And so, yeah, it does not, it needs to have some revisions made to it.
Go ahead, Leo.
You know what? I'll agree. I'm sure there are a lot of things that needs to be revisited with it, and states have different laws, so it's kind of tricky with it. But yeah, if anything though, it needs to be revisited, reviewed, and make sure that it's equitable for everyone.
Yeah. I always say you can tell when a system is messed up when people figure it out and they start to scheming and they start to figuring, how to get around this, how to get away with this, and whatever, man. I think for on the gentleman's side, man, we go to the barbershops, we all talk to each other, man. We know that everybody, they escape child support, they got ways of escaping, like, I'm just get paid under the table or whatever, so I ain't gotta, there's ways of doing it. And then from female side, man, I've heard from the ladies' side, I've heard stuff like Brittany Renner. I don't know if y'all ever seen Brittany Renner, but she has a whole like formula. Like what? She's got a whole formula. Like, well, if you get 4 different baby daddies, plus government assistance, and you good. You know, she's got a whole a whole formula how to
She's
get
teaching women how to be deceiving and conniving, basically.
pretty much. You know, so it's people who, you know, what do y'all think about that? I think from the scheming part, on the fella side and the lady side, like, how does that affect families? I guess be my question.
I'll say from the man's side, there probably should be more awareness in who we give our seed to, so not to put us in that situation from the jump. The trickery behind child support on both ends, because there's dudes out there that get women pregnant just so they can continue to be in their life. I mean, we can be dogmatic and just beat men up. Beat women up on regards to how men feel about child support. But on the women's side, there are guys out there that deliberately, put holes in prophylactics and things like that to get the woman pregnant. And despite the child support aspect of it, they just want to continue to be in that woman's life. They do some desperate things. So just awareness, I would say, just come from a place of making some good decisions. A lot of decisions we make in our 20s are not good decisions. And so, just from that aspect, I think awareness would be the first part. If we got people out there telling you how to make money off somebody else's, is she also teaching the women how to do things with the money, like invest?
Nah. If you listen to Brittany, because she got pregnant by a basketball player, and then once she had the baby, she filed divorce, and she wrote a whole book on and she did. The bad part is she set the dude up. She said it on TikTok before she said it, like, I'm about to get pregnant by a baller. And that's what she did. She married him or whatever, then got the divorce, and now she's got a good check coming in. But the one thing too is, because you kind of touched on it, about the fairness of it from the men's perspective, from the women's perspective too. So, KD, you're the only one that's paid child support. We hadn't paid, but we all got friends and other family members who paid, and we hear their stories, we hear the nightmares, we hear everything that goes with it. So based on the system, we can talk Texas, federal, or other states. Based on the system, what's fair about the system? What's unfair about the system?
I think it has to be why the question, it has to be why the system was put in place and what was going on at the time, and why it was there. And it's like most laws, they go in good faith, but after time and everything else, things get corrupted. So it's that some of the what you said, what are the goods and the bads about
it? What's fair about it? What's unfair?
Fair would be for those, and you got to understand, child support wasn't for the parent, the male, or the guy or the lady who's out there doing what they need to do with their children. Child support was for those people who would impregnate or whatever with these kids and just deuces, or have kids and she out, and same vice versa for the fella side. So I say the good is holding people accountable for what they do and making them understand there's a life that you brought into this world, and other people are paying for this life while you just out there just creating more life and more life. Hopefully it was supposed to make people understand that maybe I want to take some responsibility and think about, like you said before, think about what I'm doing and where I'm putting my seed into. But on the bad side, people don't care. They didn't find ways around it and everything else. So the unfair part would be some of the ways that people can get away without paying child support, like you said, or either some of the ways people use child support for these schemings and for these scams.
Yeah, yeah. And Stacy said, and Stacy brings up a point. That's one of the things I want to do: the evaluation of custodial and non-custodial parents. Man, just the cases. I think some of the stuff is, for me, from stories I've heard. I've got someone I know who pays, and when they filed divorce and when they were doing everything, he was getting crazy overtime. He was getting crazy work at that time, man. So, when he got evaluated, they didn't look at the gross, they look at what you take in. And he was trying to explain, like, hey, we just had a hurricane, I've been working this and that for these few months. I don't get paid this every time. But the judge didn't want to, the judge didn't care about it. So for me, how they look at the payments and how they look at everything, for me, everything should base on the gross pay, not on what you made the last 3 months, because what you made the last 3 months is not guaranteed. Look at that gross, and then, and then look at everything else. Like you were saying, I think the system was brought up, I think it started like in 35 or 75, where I think the original thought of the system was, hey, women wasn't working as much as they are right now. So they were thinking, hey, we need to make sure these women are taken care of and the families are taken care of. So when they brought up the system and they brought up the payments and they brought up the cap and all of that stuff, they're looking at that. But that was 40, 60 years ago, and now, women are working more. Everybody, we're more on a level playing field, but there hadn't been any step to change it, which in return, especially for Black families, in return is most of the men can't keep up with the payments, and in return we end up working for the state. So
I see. Even what Leo was saying about, and both of you kind of alluded to it, how the system when a man is evaluated. Because so, for example, Stacy brought up custodial and non-custodial. It's just the legal jargon that means the primary parent and the secondary parent. So the custodial parent is a person that has 51% of the child, right? Because it's never really 50-50. Even when it says joint custody, it's still going to say custodial, non-custodial. And that's usually giving the rights to the mother unless she's unfit. And so I'll just use myself as an example. When I was a plant worker, when I was working in a refinery in Port Arthur, I remember I was being evaluated. And so they looked at what I was making at the time. They looked at how long I was making it. They looked at how long she was requesting. And so 2 cases with arrears came to $129,000. The only reason that I did not go to jail was because I was working. But in most cases, they send people to jail. Like, no kidding, they send you to jail. So I got evaluated. I was paying like $2,400 a month in child support, and then they put these arrears on. So the arrears plus the regular payment came up to like $2,400 a month. So I'm paying this, and when I stopped working at the plant, they didn't do an evaluation. They actually both basically told me that the custodial parent had to do an evaluation. I forgot what they call it. The term of it is. And so because they didn't request it and they were okay with that money, then I started to become more and more and more in arrears, because I wasn't able to keep up the normal pay because my pay had changed. And then on top of that, the money just kept stacking on. And then something that the state of Texas do. So the state of Texas doesn't charge you a flat fee. What they basically do is charge you an interest rate. So there's an interest amount on that arrears. And if you ever say you want to pay it out, then what they do is you pay toward what you owe, and they take the interest off, because now they don't have to manage that account anymore. But finally, I brought it down to like under 80,000, then brought it down to under 50, and then had to get a pro bono attorney. And even when I got a pro bono attorney, I made too much. Darn, I got to be like impoverished. And so I had to go on and try to work the system to work out for me at the same time, struggling to, because even when you pay child support, there's these things about parental rights, and you have to file and you have to do certain things. And she has to fall into contempt of court after like 6 visits and all this other stuff. Particularly at the time, it does not work for the non-custodial parent, whether it be the guy or the female. Most, and I want to say 81% of non-custodial parents are male. And so it didn't work out for them at all. Because if you make too much, they hit you. If you don't make enough, if you make too little, you darn near got to be poor, which you can't make the payments again. So the system is not designed. Texas is kind of trying to evolve because the evaluation, what they're wanting to do is consider the pay of the both parents. Because if you think about it, if you're trying to fit it, whereas the lifestyle of the child has to be the same for both homes, then what if the mother makes more money? And in that particular case, she made more money because I was darned at both anyway. So the system is really flawed. I'm a strong advocate, and myself and 2 other gentlemen, we've created this real small organization that we remain nameless, but we seek to help people that need assistance with situations like this. So so there has to be an evaluation of both parents, like Stacey alluded to earlier, like Leo was saying, it was done so long ago, and like Isaac was saying, it was done so long ago that when it was created because a lot of mothers didn't have assistance, because the dude had a whole family on the other side of town. He would just beat feet. And when they put those laws in place, a lot of times the parents can actually get a mediator and a contract drawn up without going through Office of the Attorney General, the OAG.
I don't know if I agree with evaluation of both parents. I think I'm more so maybe changing the percentages or whatever for the non-custodial parent. Because if you're looking at the value, just because I make this much in the house, that doesn't mean that that's going to cover the child. You thinking about the child and the support of the child or whatever like that. So just because, and then when you start looking at that, what's going to be the number for the custodial parent? How much do they have to make? If you say in a parent that makes 40, 50,000 a year, oh yeah, you make 40, 50,000 a year, you should be able to cover the child for this much. But a parent making $40,000 or $50,000 a year is still struggling with kids. And I'm talking about a parent who, let's say they was married before. I'm not talking about baby mama. I'm talking about married, and then y'all get a divorce and you got 4 kids, and she's making 50. I don't think that he or whoever I'm going quick with the he and she stuff. The custodial parent is making 50. I think the non-custodial parent, maybe the percentage, because I don't know what the percentage right now at the top of
25, 12, and 8.
Yeah, so maybe the percentages for the non-custodial parent is too high. And it's because I know most of the time, a lot of times when people get hit, is they get hit with those rears, like you was talking before, and it's like it's hard to get that, get to that zero. You got to work real hard to get to that zero or get to that even, to that balance, which I think some of those things like that should be looked at.
I think the custodial parent should be weighed in the evaluation, but not as heavily considered as the non-custodial. But when you have a gap as far as like if the custodial parent's making 120,000 and the non-custodial parent's making 50,000,
that's going to be good. But I can understand maybe one kid. But when you start talking about multiple kids and how much you paying for multiple kids, 100 and something gets spent quick.
Yeah, so maybe you put a cap, because my mama I mean, we weren't raised on $2,400 a month, so there maybe should be a cap on how much, and you consider the cost of living and inflation. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, my thing is, God, I hear you, Leon. I understand, and I got it. Like I said, I know a guy who almost in the same situation, but the thing is, like, y'all know how much money we make. Like, this dude checks be, if he don't work any overtime, his checks be like $500. Like, he has to work overtime just to survive. You know what I mean? So when you talk about the money part, you talk about that cap part and the 4 kids, it's like, okay, yeah, he has to pay for the 4 kids, which he's paying for those kids. But in the same token, man, he's struggling. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't pay my own bills. You know what I mean? I got to start selling stuff just so I can survive because I'm paying all of this off the top.
Yeah,
So,
and a lot of times too, when stuff like that happened too, what y'all alluded to too was what you can't afford it, and there's not too many lawyers that'll do it pro bono, but you need that lawyer to help you out with that. Because I know quite a few fellas who then got hit with those type stories. I knew one of my boys paying for child. They pretty much had him paying child support even when he had the kid during the summer, and he still had to pay child support, and he had to take that to court. And some of the other things, like you said, when you change positions, and you have to take it to court, but you also, like, there aren't too many pro bono lawyers that'll do that. You have to.
And just to take it to court, because this is how you get stuck in the system, right? Just to take it to court takes time. You just can't say, hey, I just got this position, my next check gonna be low. Like, they don't care. They still gonna take that same amount. But if you can't pay it, then you're gonna end up in the other system. They're gonna punish you. So
one of my boys told me he got hit, whereas the baby mama didn't even do it, and him and her was on bad terms for a minute until they finally got cool with each other and they talked to each other, and he found out that when she put herself on government assistance, they automatically started taking from his check. Although she didn't, and she had to go down there to the court and be like, I don't want him on child support because he is actively in the child's life and he is actively paying. And she's like, this money that y'all want him to pay isn't even close to what he's actually doing in the child's life. And the judge,
so anytime the custodial parent requests things like stand-ins or any government or state assistance, what the government and state does is recuperate that cost through the cost of whomever else is sharing the custody of the child. And so they're going to recover that money because the state or the government don't want to. And they'll recover it one way or the other. Either they'll take it from the person's check by garnishing their wages. And the way to get around that, so if there's anybody that's listening, if you're a custodial parent and you do not want the person on child support, you can get a notarized letter, write the letter in the letter, state that I, your name, University of the Service of the Office of Attorney General, wish to neglect my rights in regards to the OAG handle the financial support. So what they do, and the OAG, only thing they manage is the financial support and the medical, dental, and vision for the child, right? They don't do anything as far as push rights. But there's a clause in the rights that states that the person is given joint rights based on whatever the state. So right now in the state of Texas, it's every other weekend, once a week, either on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and along with some additional holidays. So they may write the grammar may say for every odd year he gets them, or the custodial parent, not custodial, and then for every even year the other person gets them. And then they switch the same for holidays and birthdays. Like Leo, like you were saying, man, it's a very, very, very flawed system. And another thing is, like, for your friend, she didn't know. She just wanted to, get the assistance. Now what's going to happen is the government is going to kill her assistance because she wants whatever assistance that she wants. On top of that, when they kill her, now it puts her back in the situation of, well, now do I need more money? And if she ever writes that letter, the first time you ever submit that letter to the Office of Attorney General as a custodial parent, and you say you don't want them in your business, basically, they will not pick up the case. The only other caveat to that is if the non-custodial parent is out of the country for 3 or more years, the OAG will drop all cases, drop everything, and basically just kill the case, and if the person returns, they won't pick it back up. But you have to be out of the country for 3 years or working somewhere else. But now that's why they put that thing in place. I don't know if y'all remember some years back that you can't fly if you're in arrears out of the country.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all remember seeing that in the news.
Yeah. So Stacy had a question there. He says, does the seed that a farmer plants belong to the farmer or to the earth?
To the farm. Belong to the farm. I'm with you, Stacy. It belongs to the farm.
It belong whoever the judge says it belong to, because I think KD you touched on a little bit, and then check your KD, check your mic there. You coming in coming in hot. The judge, I wanted to hit on that there because everything belongs to the judge. Leo, you're just talking about a case where the lady went and asked the judge to change. I don't know what the outcome was of that, but I also heard of a story. I was listening to a lawyer today, and she was saying the same, like the opposite stuff happened. Like the couple had agreed that they didn't want to pay child support at all, but the judge made the lawyers go back and say, hey, he's got to pay something. So everything is on the judge. From y'all opinion there, and I'll throw out. Let me throw out a disclaimer too. Anything that we share on this episode is not any legal advice or any advice for you to take to court or anything. That's all on you. We have nothing to do with that. That's just a little disclaimer up there. We're not giving legal advice out there. You know, if you don't win it, don't come at us. But do y'all think that the judges are because everything is a different judge, a judge in Jefferson County versus a judge in Jasper County? You'll get two different things off the same case with the same things. Are judges fair? One, and then proportionately, do you believe judges stereotype all men when they're coming up with these with child support and other divorce separation rulings?
Do I sound better now?
Yeah, you sound good now.
So I'll just talk about my case, and so cases, and so how I went in and represented myself. You know, my mom and dad brought us up where you got to have on at least a tie, right? So I went in and represented myself well, and the judge saw that that I was trying, right? He saw my paychecks, and I didn't look nothing like my paychecks. The state of Texas can take 50%, up to 50%, and they were doing just that. So I was bringing crumbs home. And so one of the things I think, just in my opinion, it's like remember when I think Blasso, Charlie Porter, our cousin, had talked to me about if you ever pulled over by the cops, keep your hands on the wheel, let all your windows down. They want to be safe just like you want to be safe. But if they're a jerk, just say, yes, sir, so you can live on. And it's the same thing with the court system, in my opinion. If I go in there with a long record and they see that I've been handled, and that's some legal jargon, then they may treat me a certain way. But I try to make sure that I represent myself, that I can try to get some mercy. And I was provided some grace. And so they did some things with the arrears, calculated some things, and brought it down tremendously. And so it worked out in my half. Now, all judges aren't like that. But this particular judge that day, I don't know if he had him a sip of some yak or something before that, but it worked out in my favor because I went in with the mindset of, man, I really if I went in there and liked the food, I probably would have got more money and put in jail. And so I couldn't afford neither. And it worked out for me. Now, not saying that everybody gets that grace, but it worked out for me in my case.
Yeah. Faith Love says child support is definitely not in favor, in the father's favor, and the mothers know that. Like I said, that's part of, kind of like we were saying earlier, part of the game, right? Like people are figuring out the system. They know, hey, if I go to court, then I'm going to get this judgment. They're going to go in my favor. I even heard of a story where the lady was annoyingly crackhead, and the judge still went in their favor. So I mean, how can you win in that system, man? How do you win in that system? What you think, Leo?
Sometimes the problem you're gonna have is with the system like that. The problem sometimes you're gonna have problems as to where you live. If you small town and you got one judge, and you know that judge know your family, you know, because you're a small town, everybody know everybody, so you might have that bias or whatever like that. Uh, you can go to a bigger town and you can probably do a couple of things to switch out judges and stuff like that, or either you might get lucky, like KD said, and you end up running into another judge like that. But it's definitely the judge's prerogative, the attitude. There is no there's a range when it comes to these type things, but there is nothing that says if this person hits this checkbox, this checkbox, this checkbox, it will be this much. It will be that. There is nothing like that. There's a range. So the judge has the power, as you might say, to deal how they feel within that range. You know, and it's like you say, if he come in, if a person come in and they see that there's a problem, or they don't like you for some reason, or they feel some type of way towards you, you know, which way you gonna go in that range. But yeah, 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 definitely. Well, cheaper to keep the kids. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's cheaper to keep the kids because kids are, you know, full time parenting is a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, I know some guys get hit a lot, but some guys don't. You see some guys who, like you say, they know how to finagle their way through that system. You know, they'll be like on according to the checkbook, they only make this much a month, but those side hustles or whatever they getting paid on the side, they making crazy amount of money, and you know the kids ain't getting too much of nothing. You
I
know,
literally started my business on the side because I wasn't making enough money at work. So I started training OSHA on the side
Hey,
so I can at least
hold
eat.
on,
And now
hold
it's
on.
a
Now, we
yeah,
don't want you. We don't want you incriminate yourself. We don't want them coming at you for back child support, man. There, he didn't
I
mean that.
filed it on my
I
claim.
started a business that he helped run. We put it that
No, I
way.
filed it on my taxes. I mean, I made
Yo.
sure.
You better bleep that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I filed it on my taxes. I did the right thing because, like you said, I ain't want them coming for me. But I was like, I mean, like, man, it was hard, man. It wasn't hard. It wasn't easy, man. It
Yeah.
was not easy.
I always feel like, as a black man, I mean, I always hate to bring up stuff, but it always seemed like stereotypical. Like you're already losing when you're going into the courthouse. Like they already got stereotypical that you're a deadbeat, not even knowing anything you do or what you do. You know what I mean? Even if, like KD, you say you spoke well and whatever, and they could see. But even if I don't speak well, but I work hard and I want to take care of my kids, and the judge don't see that, it's almost like, to me, it shouldn't feel like a punishment when I leave the courthouse, and that's what it looks like to me. Like the men already knows they're going to lose. It's going to be pretty much the judge.
you got to go in there. You got to think about what you going in there, who you going in there. You
Yeah,
going in there to a person who sees these cases every day, and they see this type of individual every day, multiple times a day. So I feel sorry. I know it's probably not true, but it might be. By the afternoon, I done got another case with another guy who's supposed to be doing this, and then you come in court, you know, and yeah, I've already seen this. I already know. Let's get it. Let's
yeah.
kick him out
Man,
and go to lunch.
I remember there was a kid that was before me, and so you know when you buy those shirts at Walmart, how it has like the creases folded up, and like when you buy the pants, they like got the crease at the knees because they've been folded on the anchor on the hanger. And so he came in there, and you could tell he had just changed, but he had the sticker of his shirts right here, right, and
And
so
so
he was in front of the judge talking and everything like that, and the judge kept looking at him. And so the judge say, "Son, you got the sticker to your shirt." He was like, peeled it off. He was like, tucked it in. He didn't have a belt on or nothing. And so the judge gave him some grace, right? And so my case was next, Judge Summer Grace. When I walked out, the attorney, the pro bono attorney, was like saying some things to him that said, "See, I told you it'll work." Like, come in there with like new clothes on, with the sticker on them, so the judge can see you trying. Like, and I was like, I don't know if that was a trick or not, but I was like, and I ain't telling nobody to try it. Again, disclaimer. But I was like, man, so the next time I went to court, guess how you think I went? I sure did.
Stickers on.
Stickers on the side of my page. Like, look, I'm trying, Judge. I'm trying. I ain't get no grace that time. He just say, yeah, we just gonna raise you up 3%. I was like, oh, you don't see the sticker on my page, man.
But to Leo's point there, like when we talk about the police, we say, hey, every time you pull over somebody, you need to treat them different. This is a whole new case. This is a whole new person, different person. Same thing in court. Like, just because this is what they go through day to day, like this is what you signed up for. You're in a position of power. You can't treat everybody that comes up to that table. You got to treat, hey, this is a new case. It's a new person. I can't deal with that. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Like, I think I did always say, whatever you got going at home, don't take it to work. Be focused on work, be focused on what you're. The same thing is like, hey, whatever you got going on, you've got to be focused on that one person. This is a whole new case. Even though they look alike, they might have rode the same bus or whatever it may be. That's no excuses for the judge to because you having a bad day to punish everybody for that. Like, you got to be, you're in that position.
Whatever, man. I got all these cases up in here. I got to push. I got to push some cases. That's
not right.
That's what it is, man.
Well,
and
that's what it is, but it ain't right.
The judgment is already halfway there because he's already looked at, like he say, he got this folder that he looks at with this, and this. He's not looking at, or she, whoever the judge is. And yes, fairness would be every case is a new case. Everything like that is new, and everything else like that. Yeah. That'd be great, but we know the truth.
I disagree. I think, I disagree because I think purposely I go in with the mindset that everybody has a good heart. They'll prove me wrong when they don't.
Oh yeah, you can go in how you want to go in.
No, I'm talking about even the judge. I go in with that mindset. Now, if he don't have a good heart or he's not a good person, that's between him and God. But then if we go from the jump, like Stacey was talking about, the former, and the seed and the earth. Just if I would have made some conscious decisions, I would have never made it to the court.
Yeah.
And that's bottom line. That's like, if I would have made the right decisions with who I allowed to hold my seed, I wouldn't have never, ever been in front of the judge. And that's where it all, to me, honestly, start. Like the NBA player. If he would have watched TikTok that day, I don't think he would have made that baby.
And I'm crazy about this NBA player thing because my main thing is I don't know, man. You make too much money for that.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can watch a TikTok. That would be right on my next time I go in there with the judge. I'm like, oh, look at this. This is purposeful behavior. I have, there's plenty of stars who got full custody of their kids or took custody of their kids. I mean, isn't your homeboy Ike from the Dallas Cowboys? Didn't he take his sons? Deion.
Yeah.
So it's all about the fight too, man. Sometimes you just gotta put in and do the fight.
Yeah.
Well, on that too, sometimes you can't do the fight if you don't have the money.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, on that, I always believe in what I say is that it seems like it's harder for the men. I mean, we ain't talking about custodial battles. We're talking about child support. But when it comes to custodial, it seems like it's always harder for the man to prove. Like the man got to really, really prove that he's able to do full custodial, than the mother. Like the mother, she can have nothing or whatever, and the judge said, like, give it to the lady. The judge, man, he still gotta. But that we can talk custodial later. Let me see what Faith Love say there. all baby mamas got to do is cry a little bit and say that little man has football practice and you out of there, which is
Well, to add on to that, all the men have to do at that point is, and it's wonderful nowadays because banks have apps. So I pull out my bank, my app, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I paid for football, Yana.
yeah.
See this right here, this uniform.
Yeah, because back then,
You know,
it's a gift if you
but
give anything.
it's a game you gotta play when you're doing this. You know, little man like football. You don't let baby mama say, "Hey, little man, want to what you call it." You already have it set up. You already have it set up, and you be like, "Hey, I'm paying for it. I'm paying for football, whatever else like that."
But he don't have to.
If you smart enough, you can jump on certain things before it happens and keep your receipts. That's the main thing I think needs to be what you call keep these receipts. So when you come into court, you have those receipts, you know, because a lot of times with fellas,
Let me
I know
ask you a question, Leo. You saying keep the receipts before you get to child support court to pay child support, or while you're paying child support?
while you're paying child support, keep the receipts.
That don't mean
And
jack.
even I ain't talking about the child support receipts because a lot of times what end up happening when you going back or you doing it, they're trying to get the court is trying to whether it's the baby mama or the court, somebody's trying to get more from you. But if
Receipts
you
don't mean
doing
nothing,
that,
bro. All that's a gift. The judge will say that is a gift.
yeah, but that's things that people have used against, like Faith Love just said. The football thing is a thing that the baby mama can use against you. Well, I had to pay for football.
Yeah, that's that's the start or pay child support. But if you're paying child support already, like if there's already been a judgment started and you're paying child support, then they want an increase, then you go there with your receipts. All that you look like you're going into a tax audit. Those receipts don't mean nothing. That's a gift. That's 1,000. That's 100% a gift. Ain't nothing a dude can do or a woman can do with
So-
receipts in court.
That kind of jumps into the next topic I wanted to bring up is like how the funds being spent. I mean, is it being justifiably spent on the children? You know what I mean? And so you look at some of what people pay on child support. You're like, ain't no way all of that is going to the kids. You know what I mean? But like KD said, like I've heard, like KD said, like it's a gift. I've heard stories too. It's like, hey, I pay child support, but she also wants me to pay hospital bills, and then she wants me to pay for this and pay for that. Which, to my confusion, I don't pay child support, but my confusion is okay. The child support, when I pay child support, that take care of everything. I shouldn't have to. I'm gonna do it anyway because that's who I am, but it's not a have to for me.
There are two sides of it. One side you got to look at is marriage and divorce. The other side you got to look at baby mama, baby daddy. For marriage and divorce, in the divorce decree, you can have it to whereas which parent is paying health insurance or this or that. You know what I mean? Dental, vision, stuff like that.
And that depends on which state, because some states already require that the first 100 goes to the child's health.
Yeah. So that's along those lines. So with baby mama and baby daddy, it gets more murky. You know what I mean? But they're gonna look at it the same way they look at the divorce thing. So on top of the child support, they can put in there like who's gonna do health, who's gonna do this.
Well, they can put it in there, but it's always going to come back to whoever the custodial parent is. So in the state of Texas, what they do is they'll ask the custodial parent, do you also want money for this? And if they ask for the money, then the non-custodial parent is not obligated to put them on their insurance. But if you do have them on your insurance and then they say later on, well, yeah, I want the money, then they'll, it's a gambit. It's like either you want them on the medical insurance or you want the money. And 9 times out of 10, what the custodial parent want. They want their change. Run me my check.
Yeah.
And guess what they'll do? They'll put the child on Medicaid.
Yeah. And even depending how vindictive the other parent is, I've seen cases where the parent was very vindictive and I had a friend tell me like the kids ain't never went to the hospital that much. I mean, they was taking it to the dentist, the doctor every 2 weeks, just breaking them. So I mean, you guys to be more careful. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Terry? How you doing this afternoon?
He don't pay child support.
One other thing I want to hit up to, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but the enforcement and the punishment, I guess it's punishment there. And I never understood this. I mean, maybe when you can explain it to me, like the purpose of sending someone to jail for back child support. I don't understand that. So let's talk about the enforcement. Is it fair? Is it right to send somebody in jail? Because if I'm in jail, how am I pay child support if I can't go to work? So I don't understand that. And then even states like I've seen in Oklahoma, Alabama, Georgia, those states now tend to embarrass the parents that aren't paying child support. They'll do little roundups, and I think in Alabama, I watched one video. They were telling people they won Alabama tickets and bringing people in, and then video recording them coming in and arresting them. You know what I mean? It's like, why do we have to do all of this just because of child support? So let's talk about the jail time, the enforcement of child support. Is it fair? Is it beneficial to the kids if their parent is in jail because they owe back child support? Is it beneficial? Is it really beneficial for the kids?
In the perfect world, it does not make sense to send a parent to jail for not paying child support. But you have to look at the system and how it's designed. The system is designed because the state is paying for. Remember, most likely, if the parent is going to jail, it's because the state or county, depending on the state that they're in, is paying for support of that child, right? So if the child is on Medicaid, guess who pays for that? The state or the county, depending on the state. If they're getting TANF or stamps, like what is that? Child support, the Lone Star, the state pays for those. They have to find a way to recuperate that. And so when they send a person to jail, most jails are privately owned. And when they send that person to that privately owned, the county pays that, but then they recoup some cost in what the person works and does in the jail. So they may not be getting all of the money that they want, but they're recouping something. And so the system is, again, flawed. And so they may not, and it's kind of like one of those things they're trying to initiate the person to start working. If he a drug dealer, he ain't worried about going to jail. It's money tax free anyway. And so, most often, I don't agree with it. It don't make sense to me, but I understand the system, and the state is trying to find a way to recoup the cost that they've already put into the child.
And I just want to add to that because you talk about the state and making money there. There is a thing called welfare cost recovery, and I think we were talking about it before the show. You said Texas, they call it something else, but you got the welfare cost recovery, which the government made 1.38 billion in a tax that they charge on to top of people paying child support. They make off of child support they make 1.38 billion. That was in 2021. Last year they made that much. So it is beneficial
You said
for the government.
1.38 billion.
Billion. That's what they made last year off of child support. So it's not just the custodial parent. The government benefits too, either by putting you in jail or by you paying child support.
God dog, Terry, you was on my team until you said that. You done lost me. Put that back up. What he said. Put it back up.
All right. He says a man should take care of his kids from the jump. If not, then he should be jailed.
Terry, you must not pay child support. And matter of fact, I want you to define take care of kids. Because if you're just looking at for what the OAG, what the Office of Attorney General does, only thing they do is recoup costs in regards to financial support and medical support. They do not warrant anything in regards to to, visitation. So if part of taking care of his kids is visitation and he's not getting that, then should the opposite person be jailed if they're not receiving visitation? Because they'll send you to jail quicker for not paying than it is visitation.
Yeah.
So let's talk.
I somewhat agree with him, but I somewhat disagree with him because some of the guys, like we were talking about earlier, some of the guys can't pay. 80% of the people who pay child support makes less than $20,000, and 60% of that make less than $10,000 annually. So sometimes it's not that I don't want to take care of my kids. Sometimes is I can't afford to take care of my kids. So there's the tricky line in between there.
Should both parents want the best for their kids? I'm sorry, I was answering Terry. He said a man should always want the best for his kids by being there and monetary. Shouldn't they both want best for the kids? But go ahead, Leo. I'm sorry.
He's just talking about a man's point of view because he is a man. But that number that you gave Isaac was interesting. But also you gotta look at the other end. They recuperate that 1.38 billion. How much are they paying into these social programs to take care of these kids that's not all the way being taken care of? So that's I mean, I can understand if you're only paying maybe a couple of mil or whatever towards everybody towards taking care of kids, other people's kids, or compared to 1.38, yeah, that's crazy. But if you paying 35 billion to take care of other people's kids and your recruit is only 1.38, it's only 1.38. And like you said, only certain number of people are paying that anyway. It's not everybody's, because not everybody's paying child support.
Yeah, there's 13.2 billion kids that receives child support. 13.2 billion.
So that's almost $1 million
there's
a kid.
there's a whole lot more kids that there's a lot of and I hate doing it this way. There's a lot of women out there that baby daddies ain't on child support.
Yeah.
And they're not and these women are struggling, and these women are on these programs like that.
But are they double dipping? No, I mean, we already pay it in our taxes. I'm pretty sure they can afford it with our taxes. Do they need the extra 1.3? Really? I mean, that's what we pay. We pay it.
Our taxes pay. Our taxes pay, right?
Yeah.
You saying that as a vet?
Yeah.
We paid our own taxes as a vet. We paid ourselves, and you know how much we got paid as being in the military.
Yeah, but still, why am I being punished twice? I mean, not punished, but why is the government adding extra money? I'm already paying to take care of my kids. Why do you need extra? For me, why am I getting charged twice? Just because I'm paying child support? I got to get charged twice for that? I'm paying taxes and I'm paying extra, paying into your 1.3.
Not only that, you look at this.
Dude,
so,
like I just said, why can't I give myself a bigger raise when I was in the military? I get paid. You literally got paid off taxes. You paid taxes, and you couldn't give yourself a raise.
Yeah, but those come from two different buckets. So federal taxes that we pay go towards military funding. State taxes, or what Isaac's talking about.
Guard, you still got to look at the Guard and reserves. That's paid by the state.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They was in the same boat.
We're talking about what OAG recuperated.
Yeah.
With the OAG recuperated.
But you still got to understand, you still got to pay. Some of these fees that's being taken out too are paying for those judges and lawyers and time and the court and all this other stuff like that. Truthfully, it wouldn't.
I want to see the receipt. I don't trust the government that much. I want to see the receipt. Hey. Probably out there 1.38, only probably about 5% is actually going back to the welfare, and everything else is really going somewhere else. If we being real,
then there wouldn't be child support because people would be doing what they're supposed to be doing as parents.
Yeah,
so
that's the real.
Things happen like marriage. I mean, people get married.
Yeah,
but even there are people who actually, like I said, the couple that I knew before, He was doing everything that he was supposed to be doing, and she didn't want him on child support, and she went down there with him to fight to take him out because he was actually doing what he was supposed to be doing, and with time and like Terry said, with time and with money. So it's like we don't need y'all extra. Only reason she had to get on government support is because of what she was doing at the time. She was actually getting her degree. So what she was doing at the time to accelerate herself, she wasn't making enough.
So if she wasn't making enough, then
She wasn't making enough, but
that's not his fault.
Huh?
That wasn't his
and
fault.
and that wasn't what she was doing. She put herself on government
assistance
as she was going through school.
So you're talking about it
automatically took from his check, and then that's when
but you're talking about an isolated event. The entire scope of it is the system is designed for the state to recuperate the costs that they give in the support of those systems.
They're going to charge a fee for.
It's not a fee.
I'm charging a fee. I'm charging whatever I'm charging for being a mediator because y'all can't be grown and do what needs to be done. Somebody on your end can't get. It's the same thing. A lawyer charge a fee whenever y'all going through divorce court because we got to be mediators or somebody got to be mediators in there because you can't do what needs to be done. Everything. People's court charge court fees.
Yeah, they do. But what you're saying that all of that is one. You know how much $1.38 billion
and you talking about the whole nation. You talking about the whole nation.
And how many kids are on child support?
You talking about
13.2 billion.
So that's $1 million a kid. That's $1 million a kid.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers.
Yeah.
And you telling me they got
$1 million worth of child support? How much does a judge get paid? Average. How much does the lawyer get paid?
Why am I paying for him?
How much does the clerk get paid?
$1 million per kid.
You pay
$1 million per kid.
When you get a ticket, you pay those extra fees. Your ticket
$1 million per kid.
Yes. If you look at tickets and look at stuff like that, it's the same thing. These fees are added on.
That's still I mean,
it may be a lot. It may be a lot, but the fees are added on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. The fees are added on, but it ain't no $1 million a kid.
Yeah. How about I mean, in actuality,
each year, $1 million a kid each year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of baby mamas out there that's about to be mad.
Listen, we get close to the end there, man. We got to start wrapping it up there. And my question would be, that's a lot of money either way. Either way, wherever the money goes for. But even with the child support, even with all the mandates in the government system, is it really benefiting the children? Is it enough to change the lifestyle of the kids? Because we see a lot of the kids go through the same thing. You see the rotation. You see the kids going through the same thing. You see the kids. It's not helping the mothers, right? How do you get the mothers to be able to? Well, I ain't gonna say mothers. It's not helping the custodials as much. You know what I mean? You get ahead. I mean, is it really helping I don't know. It doesn't seem like the money is actually benefiting the community as much as it should.
It's not as much as
$1 million a kid.
It's not going to be as much as that person. The custodial is going to always end up paying more, unless the non-custodial is actually like the dude who's the basketball player.
Yeah.
But the custodial probably going to end up paying more because you're going to look at the time. If you look at the time, just the everyday this and that, and everything that happens that goes through, the custodial is still going to end up paying more.
My mama raised us 6 kids in one house on one income.
My daddy made that income.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But my daddy wasn't on child support. But
exactly.
it still cost.
So you're telling me that it cost what I was paying a month to raise 2 kids?
I'm saying, when I don't want to go there with you on here.
No, I'm just saying because basically what you're saying,
I don't want to get
We'll talk in general. In general,
I'm saying in general, the custodial parent can make a case and say, "Hey, my kid," and it all goes back to the lifestyle of the kid, right? If you want the kid to have a grandioso lifestyle,
Yeah.
That's coming out your pocket. But are people actually spending the funds that they're receiving in child support toward the child? And 9 times out of 10, it's not. It's not the case. 9 times out of 10, a lot of mothers are struggling because they don't get enough child support, or the fathers aren't paying, or the money that they're getting, they're frivolously spending. It's like there's not really a gray area for that.
Yeah.
There's not.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree to that part. Like I know parents that's paid like $65 in child support, and then there's like you said, the ultra rich they pay into the hundred thousands in the child
but you
support.
got,
And
but when you look at the ultra rich too, Jaden Smith can go to Central High School. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause they have to pay for that. Although even if
well, they don't
you're not
have
paying for
to.
that lifestyle, you're paying for that protection. Because some of these other private schools and stuff like that,
No, they paying for the lifestyle.
Yeah,
no, they paying
because
for
the protection is
lifestyle.
part of the lifestyle. Yeah, the protection is part
Yeah,
of the
they paying for the
lifestyle.
like I
lifestyle.
said before, Jaden Smith, a millionaire going to Central High School that everybody know that's on the screen all the time. You know how that kid would get kidnapped? I ain't even talking about just the bullying or anything else like that, or
But that's part of the lifestyle.
taken for the
that they
shoes.
lead.
That's
I'm
part of the
talking about-
lifestyle. Yeah.
But I'm talking about the kid getting kidnapped. So they have schools and stuff like that you got to pay for those type of
Why
things.
didn't we get kidnapped? Because we didn't have that lifestyle.
Because we didn't have no money.
Exactly, because our
we're not
lifestyle.
with children. We
saying the same thing. It's just the lifestyle of Jaden Smith versus Isaac Mouton in the 8th grade was totally different.
Yeah. But still, even if you're paying tuition, you can go to schools with lower tuition. I mean, it's the like AD was saying, it's that gray area. Like what makes the difference between one kid is only worth 65 and another kid worth 200. It's just the lifestyle that they're growing up with, and what you see, and you kind of feel something for the ultra rich, having to pay that much in child support when you know that it's not just for tuition. It's to if it's an NBA player, the baby mama's going to get this big old house. We watch the Housewives.
And they
We
go
see
for
how
the
these,
paycheck.
yeah, we watch
They
the
want the
Housewives. We see how these women are really, how some people spend the money that they get from the baby daddy.
And they targeting them because the money that they make. Because of the lifestyle that they
We
want.
already know they target. So it turns all the way back to what you said at the beginning. Know where to plant your seed.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're going over on this one here, man. Let's we'll go ahead and wrap it up, man. Good topic here. Good topic, man. We'll agree to disagree. Let's end it on something positive, like what needs to be changed. Obama tried to change it back in, I forgot the year. Obama did try to make some changes in the system that, of course, got denied because Obama put it out. But to our current system on the federal or state level, what would you like to see to move it forward where it's more of a fair system, it's a better system where people aren't taking advantage of it in either direction, that'll be beneficial to the kids? What would y'all like to see? And we'll end on that note.
You want me first?
Sure.
Oh man, it's a lot of things that you'd like to see with the system. The system needs to be revamped. The percentages need to be looked at and reevaluated. Maybe some of the evaluations need to come more than just once a year or whatever like that. Maybe they need to be quarterly reevaluations. There's a lot of technologies and systems out there, apps and websites and everything else. Technology need to be added into the process to make it easier for these, when a person get a new job or a person job rates fluctuates, there needs to be a way where you can go in there and you don't have to go to court. And that would lower some of that court costs or those fees. I don't have to go to court. I can do it right here and show my employer, and my employer does this little certain thing, and this is how much I'm getting paid. This is how it is and things. So some of the fluctuations and some of the things need to be revamped to be for 2022 instead of 1938. That's all I got.
Jonathan last.
I'll go next. I'll give y'all a little minute to think, man. For me, it's just like I said earlier, man. I think we need to look at the payout a little bit different. We need to look at the gross and not the total check. You can't be adding that. I think one thing we didn't talk about too is your extra checks, like the stimulus checks. There's a lot of guys and women who did not get a stimulus check because it went straight to child support, which kind of puts you in the bind when you know the other parent got a stimulus check and then you have nothing to help you get through recovery and other little government bonuses and stuff, like whatever you want to call it, government benefits that come through like that. I think we should reevaluate that. You have to make the system fair. Judges need to start looking at every case. Every judge, I would hope that there would be some type of a better standard than just whatever the judge decides to do. I wish there was a better standard to benefit both parents, so nobody's getting taken advantage of. And just all together, man, I think it's something that the system needs to get looked at. Custodial, child support, father's rights. All of that stuff needs to get relooked at, and we need to update it where it is it's updated for 2022 because parents have changed. So, who's next?
Ask the question again. I want to.
It's just what do you see state level, federal level ways to improve the system, or what can we do to improve the system?
If OAG is collecting that much money. And more than likely, somebody is looking at it like a cash cow, right? So it's making some revenue for somebody, whether it be judges or the people that work the cases, the social workers, whomever it may be. There should be also some programs to show them how to mediate, or there should be some visitation involved. Like, okay, now this money is involved with the financial services and the medical services of the child, but also outside of using just local law enforcement and municipal agencies, there should also be like some counseling for both of them, because ultimately this child is going to be brought up into the world and have either some resentment or some brokenness or something that come along with just all this, the money, because no matter how loud the father cries about the money or the mother cries about the money or the non-custodial, we're missing the two most important words: child support. And that's where I think we are failing as a country, because we're not supporting the children like we should. The common reason that they're both in court is because of the child. And so children are brought up into that environment and brought up into that atmosphere, and they'll dislike one or like the other, or go back and forth. There should be like some counseling that's along with that, money that the OAG is recuperating to kind of betterment, because ultimately someone is looking at it as a cash cow, and the children aren't benefiting, because all the children get out of it is pennies. I mean, let's be real. Regardless if the mother make a lot of money, the father make a lot of money, the kid is just benefiting pennies, and their life, is affected by this process. And all it does is recuperate. I'd love to see the statistic of people that are paying child support that actually were recipients of child support or did not get child support. I'd like to see that statistic. So I think there should be a lot of counseling involved to kind of slow the process down, to kind of change everything that evolves around it.
All right, that's it, man. I'll speak for Eyes to Pappy there, man. He's working like always there. I think, and I'll just say this, I think everybody said it, and Jonathan played the song, even Mr. Terry said it there. The best way to avoid all of this stuff, well, you got a couple ways to avoid child support and custodial, is either stay with her or don't get her pregnant, right? So that's the ultimate solution there. Eyes of Pappy, there you on? You had a final word?
I'm on now. I guess I don't know, man. You got Reverend John Sally saying the great Reverend John Sally from Good NBA, he's telling his children that you shouldn't get married to 40 because the divorce rate is so high. So by then you should be settled in. But at the same instance, are you gonna have kids while you're not married, or what's the scenario on that? I kind of understand his statement because you kind of settled and you know what you like, stuff like that. But all I can say is just take your time and get to know that person. If somebody's telling you, hey, especially if they're from their family, hey, this lady or guy is a maniac, they've known them longer than you. So take heed and don't just jump into anything. It's nothing you can really do about, child support is a lose-lose battle to me. Hopefully, the man or woman can get into a relationship where, both parties see that it's a lose-lose and it's a better fight if you handle stuff outside of the courts. But I understand it from, the court side because you got some deadbeats that, they need it. They need that structure because they don't have structure in their life. So I don't really have a positive word on child support. It's like, don't do drugs. Just say no. Pull out. Yeah, just wear them jimmies, guys. And ladies, be careful with these guys, man. Yeah. Be careful with the ladies, too. They poke holes in them things. Yeah. You buy them and bring them yourself, young men.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. This is a tough episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Be more careful. Even with the new abortion rule in there, these cases are going to get more. They're gonna get more. So be more careful out there. Hey, that's our show for tonight, man. Make sure you go ahead, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. If you only follow us on Facebook, man, go over to our YouTube page, hit that subscribe and notify button. Also, go through and watch our old videos, man. We're trying to reach, man. We're at 62 subscribers, man. We kind of slowed down last week, man. But we've got to go to getting 10 more subscribers every week, man. So go ahead, hit subscribe, then log in to your wife's and subscribe for her, and log in to your kids and subscribe for them.
Now they're gonna be paying
then log in for the non-custodial parent and subscribe for the non-custodial. Hey, help us out, man. Thank y'all all for joining us, man. We'll see you next week. You guys have a great one.
3200, but you already know this. You know it. Couple of brothers hard working and focused. Let's go. Intellectual, entertaining for show. 32 double O, let's